Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Mr. Pad Paramahansa, Parudikacharya Ashtotar, the Sri Srimad's Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai, ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Jai Vishnu Pad Paramahansa, Parudikacharya Ashtotar, the Sri Srimad's Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. प्रेम से घोष श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जाय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधाकुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जाय। वृंदावन धाम की जाय, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जाय, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जाय, गंगा मही की जाय, यमुना मही की जाय, तुलसी देवी की जाय, भक्ति देवी की जाय, श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जाय, transcendental book distribution ki jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you. And thank you. Just like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And thank you for tuning in. Hopefully there are several souls out there who can. I'll try to do my best. The subject tonight is finding safety and solace in Krishna consciousness. And I'd like to read one verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is from the third canto, 25th chapter, text 22. It's Kapila Muni's instructions to his mother. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On this third day of January 2021 in SanDiego, we're speaking at the Krishna Fest on Sunday evening, and the subject matter is finding safety and solace in Krishna consciousness. So, this is, as I mentioned, text 22 of the 25th chapter of the third canto. Kapila Muni is speaking to his mother. Mayananyena bhavena bhaktim kuvanti yedvidham matkute takta karmanas takta swajana bandhava. Now in this series of verses, Kapila Dev is explaining the importance of associating with sadhus. And here he's describing one of the qualities of a sadhu. Such a sadhu engages in staunch devotional service to the Lord without deviation. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's actually the next verse, 23. Manashya katamrishta shinbanti katayanti cha tapanti vipadasthapa naitanman katachetasa. So the sadhu engaged constantly in chanting and hearing about me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The sadhus do not suffer from material miseries because they are always filled with thoughts of my pastimes and activities. Srila Prabhupada's purport. One paragraph. There are multifarious miseries in material existence. Those pertaining to the body and mind, those imposed by other living entities, and those imposed by natural disturbances. But a sadhu is not disturbed by such miserable conditions because his mind is always filled with Krishna consciousness, unless he does not like to talk about anything but the activities of the Lord. Maharaj Ambarish did not speak of anything but the pastimes of the Lord. Vachangsi Vaikunta Gunanavarnane. He engaged his words only in glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sadhus are always interested in hearing about the activities of the Lord or his devotees. Since they are filled with Krishna consciousness, they are forgetful of the material miseries. Ordinary conditioned souls, being forgetful of the activities of the Lord, are always full of anxieties and material tribulations. On the other hand, since the devotees always engage in the topics of the Lord, they are forgetful of the miseries of material existence. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmidatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. So I thought I would share this verse and purport with you because it describes the state of mind of a advanced devotee, sadhu, who is being described here, engaged constantly in chanting and hearing about me, in that absorption of thoughts of Krishna by hearing and chanting. The material miseries don't impinge upon his consciousness as much. Even though there may be some pain, there might be one of the threefold miseries may either be upon him or threatening, still the mind is on Krishna. And so, as it says in the verse here, tapanti vivadastapa naitan, that the tapas, the different miseries that are inherent to being in this material world, they don't inflict as much suffering. The consciousness is there, but the suffering isn't there. And so this is, Prabhupada once said, the safest place in the material world is on the Sankirtan party. And there's a wonderful story related in Ocean of Mercy, I think his book is called, Bhakti True Swami's kind of autobiography and how he came to Krishna consciousness, experiences in Krishna consciousness, published 2 years ago now. And he describes there how when Srila Prabhupada was in Calcutta during the war, World War II, there was bombing from the Japanese, I believe, who were allies with the Germans. And India was allied with England, of course, so there was some enmity there. So he's staying in Calcutta there, and I think his family was with him. But many people evacuated because the bombing was coming day after day. But Prabhupada couldn't leave, and the story was well known in ISKCON for many years of how Prabhupada, because he included it in a lecture, he saw and heard these bombings coming down, and he took it as this is part of the universal form. In other words, he wasn't terrified by it. He was seeing it as an aspect of Krishna's glories. But what he didn't tell us, which Bhakti True Swami related, is how there were other members of the Gaudiya Math then in Calcutta, and they went on Harinam in the middle of the bombing. And the calculation was, well, we'll be absorbed in Krishna consciousness. If the bomb hits, we'll go back to Godhead. Otherwise, we'll just do Sankirtan and benefit the people who hear and ourselves. So Prabhupada perfectly illustrated how this taking shelter of Krishna, especially in his holy name, he was able to tolerate easily this danger. Shri Shri Gaurnata ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Hare ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ji ki jai. So in our present state, we're trying to be Krishna conscious, but even in our neophyte state, we can experience the shelter of Krishna consciousness, especially in the holy name. And there's so many examples of how that was demonstrated in the early days of the movement. Devotees, as Prabhupada explains on various lectures, they were sometimes being arrested, put in jail, and he advised them, just keep chanting. You know, you're chanting outside, chant within the jail. I remember a story in Bombay once. There was several arrests. There was some opposition to the temple. So the devotees got arrested, and they were in jail for I don't know how many weeks. So they followed Prabhupada's instruction, and they had a whole program in the jail. They had deities, very ornately decorated, all in their mind, you know. But they would perform artik, of course, have kirtan, and they would cook a big feast, and they would honor the feast. And so this way they were remaining absorbed in Krishna consciousness, and the discomfort and the difficulty of being in jail was practically nil. They saw it as a great opportunity for deepening their Krishna consciousness. And so this is the vision of devotees who are beginning, or they're somewhat advanced in Krishna consciousness, what to speak of the pure devotees, that they find that being Krishna conscious, chanting the holy name especially, gives a tremendous amount of solace to the soul, and you're able to tolerate things that you never thought you could. And going through those experiences, especially in the course of trying to spread Krishna consciousness, very much strengthens your resolve, and it also strengthens your realization and your faith in Krishna consciousness. We should note that Srimati Radharani, in many murtis, we have our wonderful deities here. Srimati Radharani is giving this mudra, the Abhaya Dhan. Abhaya means fearlessness. She's saying, just try to love us. You just try to chant, be Krishna conscious, and everything will be okay. She's assuring us. Just as Krishna does in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is very much troubled by the prospect of having to kill his beloved grandfather. Bhishma Dev took the role of his grandfather when his father died untimely. And what to speak of his teacher, Dronacharya, who revered, and so many other friends and relatives who he had great affection for and respect. Even the sons of Dhritarashtra, who had been plotting for years to kill or somehow or other eliminate the Pandavas, he felt great affection for them too, because he's a Vaishnav. He said amazingly, I don't see how I can live if I have to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, even though they had tried so hard to kill him. So he was contemplating on the material platform this horrible scene of him, being responsible for the deaths of people he loved, and he said, I don't want the kingdom if it's soaked with their blood. So, but he was in great distress. He was paralyzed. He dropped his bow. He was shivering. He was crying, because he was in a dilemma. He knew that Krishna wanted him to fight. He knew that ultimately it was the right thing to reinstitute Dharma in the world, and personified by his elder brother Yudhishthira. And yet he had this other pull of his material side, albeit it was a you would say moral or ethical principle that he was showing. And so he took shelter of Krishna. He said, Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava, is that by this miserly weakness, it has stolen away my actual nature, which is to be a Kshatriya. And I'm paralyzed now, and I have no idea what the right thing is to. Karpanya dosho pahata pritchami tvam dharma samuda cheta. Dharma samuda cheta means my consciousness is bewildered, my mind is bewildered about what real Dharma is. And in Vedic culture, and all devotees are very concerned to do the right thing, which is really according to Bhagavad Dharma. So he was paralyzed. So in that situation, he's showing us what to do when we're confused about what's the best thing for me to do in this world. How can I achieve success? How can I achieve peace and happiness? So we need to approach a proper authority, who is the spiritual master. How's it go? Tatsmat Guru Papadya Jigyashu Shreya Uttamam. Shreya Uttamam. Arjun uses those very words. Yak Shreya Aksyan Nishchitam Bhuhit. Please tell me for certain how I can achieve Shreya. What is Shreya? Shreya is the best thing for me. And for devotees, it also means the best thing for everybody. So he says, please tell me for certain, because I don't know how I can achieve my real goal. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says in his Uddhava Gita, Tasman Guru Papadya Jigyashu Shreya Uttamam, that if you want your ultimate good, then you have to approach a genuine guru, bona fide spiritual master. And what are his qualifications? Shabde Padechanishnatam Brahmanupashamashayam. He has to be saturated and completely well versed in the Shastra, Shabde, the transcendental sound, and in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Pare, Nishnatam, Brahmanupashamasham. These two aspects of Brahman, the Shabda Brahman, the sound, as well as the Personality of Godhead, and completely free from any material desires. See? So we have that personality in Srila Prabhupada. And taking shelter of his instructions that are so wonderfully expressed in his books, and his devotees, meaning that we try to associate as much as possible and imbibe the qualities, live the lifestyle, practice Krishna consciousness to the degree that we can do this, especially the chanting of the holy name in japa and in kirtan. I know it's difficult now. This is one of the big hardships for devotees. We can't get together for a nice big kirtan, which is the panacea for everything, But through the internet, we can experience as much as possible, or at home with our friends and our family. And in this way, to become absorbed, to absorb the mind in the holy name, which is just like Sarvatma Snapadam. Lord Chaitanya says in the first verse of his Shikshastaka, take a bath, all the souls can bathe, their consciousness in the holy name. And in this way become free from the miseries of this world and open up the pathway back to Godhead, to the eternal life of bliss and knowledge. So this is quality, back to the verse here, Marashriyakatam Rishta. So here Kapila Muni is explaining that these sound vibrations that I've taken shelter of me. In other words, they're related to my pastimes and qualities, Madashriya, because he's Krishna. Katam Rishta. And they're very delightful to hear and chant. Shunvanti Katayanti. Hearing and chanting, hearing and repeating. Then Tapanti Vivadhas Tapanaitan Mankata Chaita said, their minds will be absorbed in me, and thus they do not feel the threefold miseries as much, or even at all, if they're fully absorbed. So this is the blessing, the preliminary blessing of Krishna consciousness, is that it really allows you to live in this world without being dragged into the horrible dilemmas of how to counteract this misery, that misery, this misery, that misery. We're living through this, no one expected this. It's been a whole year now practically with this COVID pandemic. And there's so much anxiety out there because people's lives have been disrupted, and there's always this threat, invisible threat of COVID-19. And there's so much, anxiety and trouble, and mental anxiety and trouble. But devotees who are strict in their sadhana and they're chanting as much as possible, sure, we're careful, as careful as possible to avoid the dangers, because this body is meant for paraphernalia for serving Krishna, so we should preserve it as far as possible. And we have so much work to do to help others and to help ourselves be Krishna conscious. But at the same time, the mental aspect, the anxiety, can be relieved by understanding the philosophy. The jayate mriyate vakadachan. There's no birth or death for the soul, So we're not going to die. It's a question of the state of our consciousness at every moment. That's the safest place to be, fully Krishna conscious. Like the verse spoken by Shukadeva Goswami to Pariksit in chapter 14 of the 10th canto, after Lord Brahma's prayers, the Brahma Vimohan Leela, and then Shukadeva Goswami has some further instruction for Maharaj Pariksit, and he says, Samashita hi padapallava plavam mahat padam punya yasho marari pavam buddhi vatsa padam param padam yan vipadam natesham. This is a wonderful expression of the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. They're described like a boat, This world of samsara is full of all kinds of dangers. We know the classic birth, old age, disease, and death, but there's also the threefold miseries, and unexpectedly, danger can arrive from any corner. So, what is our solution? On the material side, we have so many strategies for warding these off. Multi-trillion-dollar medical industry in the United States, and always trying to ward off disease. Big, multi-billion dollar defense, so-called defense industry, so that our enemies can't get to us. All kinds of things like that. But as Prahlad Maharaj famously says, dukkaushadam tadapi dukkam. The very remedies for the dukkha, for the misery, aushadhi means like a remedy, themselves bring more misery. And so, you can see it all around you. I always give the example of the pharmaceutical industry, which has so many medicines and potions, some very expensive, but oftentimes they cause even more misery. Everyone, knows personally or by a friend or, relative to cancer, if you take chemo, it can cause, you feel like you'd rather die. It just causes so much illness, I'm sorry? The hair falls out, and so many things. So that's one example, but there's no ultimate material solution to the material miseries. That's the point. And Prahlad says, what's the cause of all this? He analyzes the material world very wonderfully in one verse in his prayers to Lord Nrsingadev. He says, Yasmat priya viyoga sayoga janma shokagnina sakalayona shuddayamana dukkaushadam tadapi dukkam adhadhyaham bhuman bhamame vadame tabadasya yoga. So in this one verse, he's got the problem and the solution. So the problem in this material world, now we're seeing, in a specific period of time where it's more exaggerated, but it's always like this. There's always personal dangers, social dangers, all kinds of things that are threatening us. So he gives an example. He gives the analysis, general analysis. Yasmat priya priya viyoga sayoga janma shokagnina. Shokagnina is the fire of lamentation. So how does it come about? So in the course of life, in our material life, some things are very dear to us, beginning with this precious body. And when the body, the health, But then there's extensions. You get attached to the family and the children and so many others. So there's other people who are most dear to you, and they may be the most dear things. But then you expand that. There's the Lakshmi that you have, the money, and your paraphernalia, and so many different things. Your prestige, your position, more subtle things. It can be very, very... So you have all these things that are dear to you, that you covet, that you really, really like. And then inevitably, in the course of time, they're taken away from you. This most dear thing is the body itself is taken away. And as time goes on, the body gradually, you become unable to enjoy those things that you have. And so that's being taken away. So the things that are dear, and sometimes tragically your children or your wife or somebody really dear dies or, whatever. So this is material life. It happens eventually to everybody. So that's cause of lamentation. On the other side, there's all kinds of things that you don't like, that are threatening, that are dangerous, that are demeaning, and whatever, and they're forced upon you. Poverty. Now, we're living with all this homelessness now, and these poor people, due to their karma, they don't have a home. It's inconceivable, practically, to think like that, Of course, our great acharyas, they were also homeless, but they saw the whole world as their home, and they, great exalted soul living under a tree. But these people are, they have nothing and no security. You get a little something and you're taking it with you everywhere. You take rest and it's gone. Just constant anxiety. So this is it says apriya viyoga. Yes, my priya priyoga viyoga sayoga. So the apriya, that which is not there, is forced upon you. Sayoga, you're forced to link up to it, So this causes a fire of lamentation. And even if you're not suffering it right away, just the idea that you might suffer it in the future, that's also suffering, You're bringing it in. Instead of being absorbed in Krishna, the mind is completely absorbed in your material situation. Everybody's involved like that, And so we try to counteract the miseries with some kind of remedy. It's called the dukkha aushadam. But that in turn produces more misery. We built up this huge transportation industry and energy producing industry, but it requires so much oil. And now we have the climate change. We're poisoning the whole atmosphere. Or just the traffic jams. I lived in the 70s in LA before they had all of this, the catalytic converters and everything, and the air was horrible every day. And long term, that'll cause, chronic disease. So this is the nature of the material world. And then he gives like a 4-syllable analysis of the basis of the whole problem. Atadhyaham. I'm thinking I'm something I'm not. I'm thinking I'm this body. And that identification with the body causes us to calculate remedies for our temporary material situation. In other words, we've cut ourselves off from the source of knowledge that the Shastra. So, what's his solution? That's 3 lines. He's got the analysis of the problem. And then he says, Bhuman, O great one, Pramami Vadameta Dasa Yogam. For this wandering soul, please instruct me in your Dasa Yoga, your Bhakti Yoga. So the solution to it all is transcendental knowledge. And that transcendental knowledge, imparted from the right source and received in the right way, transforms our life. Because it's normative. Normative means it's full with the word should. In other words, it's meant to transform your life. It's not just some philosophical speculation, but it's philosophy coupled with practical prescriptions of what to do and what not to do, so that you can realize the truth of it. And the preliminary truth that every devotee experiences who's serious about hearing and chanting and practicing devotional service is a lessening in the worry and the anxiety and all of our material baggage that we gather as we live in this material world. So this is how we can feel safety and solace. Solace is, I looked it up, it means being comforted. It means the sense that there's someone who's sympathetic to our problem and can give us some remedy for it. That's the solace. The safety part, well, Krishna takes care of his devotees, but that doesn't mean that devotees don't meet with accidents or get sick and things like that. But the safety means that if we're serious and we pray hard and we're genuinely appealing to Krishna to take us in as devotees and purify us, with our chanting of the holy name, then our consciousness will be protected. Even if the body falls somehow or other, the most important thing is our state of consciousness. And if we're able to be Krishna conscious and in the association of devotees especially, that's what will be preserved, and that's real safety. But at the same time, being circumspect, just like if we lead a devotional life, a Krishna conscious life, we're saved from so many things. The deleterious effects of drugs and alcohol and illicit sex and meat eating, we're protected from that. Leading a pure and Krishna conscious life itself protects us from so many effects of modern Kali Yuga. But at the same time, we should know that this world our life on this world is like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. We're not assured of any moment, But what we can always do is cry out to Krishna, either actually, physically or within ourselves, lead a lifestyle that we feel dependent on him, and Krishna and cultivating our Krishna consciousness at every moment. And that will give us a sense of security. No matter what happens, I'm doing the best thing that I can for my present and my future life. So that's a sense of solace. And the sense of fear that comes from turning away from Krishna. This is another verse. This is the verse in the 11th canto. What is the source of that fear? Bhayam dvitiya bandabesha takshari shadapetasiva parhyo asmrti. That when the soul turns away from God and becomes absorbed in matter, then everything is upside down. Instead of being a servant of Krishna, we try to be the master of this material energy, and fear arises from that, because Krishna is always with us, but we forget that, and we forget a relationship. We're actively denying it, and so we're thrust upon our own devices, our own petty little strength. We're relying on it, and it's obviously inadequate. It's obviously places us in a impossible situation of vulnerability in this world. So therefore, Krishna consciousness itself gives us this sense of security and safety, and that's what it means to take shelter. It means to take shelter. Take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, of Krishna's devotees, of the knowledge that we've been given of the spiritual master, and feel dependent. Otherwise, we'll be dependent on our own imagined strengths and independence, which is not there. We have no truly independent power at all. Just to take our next breath, as we know, that's not assured. And we need the blessing, that the air is there, the ability to breathe is there, and nothing is assured in this material world. But in the spiritual side and sphere, we are given full assurance, and we can rely. I've just been reading that book, Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was such a powerful preacher. He had tremendous influence. So many young men, they were, sincere Vaishnavas. They took shelter of him. created this movement in a matter of a few years, just like Prabhupada did, worldwide. And he was fearless. He confronted these threats to his life and so many things because he was challenging some very well-established traditions of Smarta Brahmins and Kasko Swamis and all these things, and he was challenging that position. No, it's about quality and work, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. It's guna karma, it's not birth. That ruined the whole thing. But he was amazingly courageous, because he felt completely protected by Krishna. So that's how we can find safety and solace in Krishna consciousness. That's what the whole word Vaikuntha means. The Vaikuntha is not just out there. Vaikuntha can also be here. The temple environment or a Hare Krishna community, whether it's rural, wherever it may be, when devotees are following and they're glorifying Krishna, working together, it's a different world. Yeah, it's a different world. You don't have the same kinds of worries and anxieties as people who are out there trying to fight material energy and losing. So this is the way in which we can take shelter of Krishna, especially through the holy name. In this age, Krishna has come as Lord Chaitanya to provide a means that's suitable for the present population. This is why he's Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate, the most munificent avatar. Because Krishna, after all, demanded we surrender. Sarvadharma Padajaja Mame Kangsharanam Vaja. If you surrender to me, give up all other dharmas or all other ideas. This one dharma, this one practice. Sarvadharma Padajaja. Give them all up. Mame Kangsharanam Vaja. And to me alone take shelter. Aham tvam sava papabhyo mokshayasami mashucha. I will deliver you from all sins, do not fear. This again, the Abhay Mudra. Abhaydan Mudra. So, this was Arjuna's anxiety that he would be incurring sin, but Krishna said, no, there's no sin involved. All this killing is part of my plan. They're not going back anyway. You just be my instrument, and you'll be completely situated in Dharma, and you'll be under my complete protection. And Arjuna says, Karishe Vachanantava. I will do as you say. So we should take the same strategy and take shelter of Krishna, Krishna's representatives, and we'll also feel that we're protected from the dangers of this world. And even though, of course, all of us have to eventually leave this body, it's how we live between now and then, what the state of our consciousness is, that will determine our future. And if we become truly Krishna conscious, then it doesn't matter if we die today or in 50 years. We'll be well situated to continue in Krishna's service and ultimately to return back home, back to Godhead, which is what we should all aspire for. That's really the goal of human life. So, I don't think we have the opportunity to ask for any questions, unless you have a question. But it's...
Prabhu,
yes.
I think we have 18 people watching, and so far no question in YouTube till now.
No questions yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So, that means that we'll turn to, let's see. If you give me a second here. I thought I would share a poem with you. Because how can we stay absorbed in Krishna thought? Actually, our literature, all the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Bhagavad Gita, the Ishopanishad, all of these are works of literature. They're poems, they're songs. And why did they take so much trouble to do that? Not every verse in the Bhagavatam is a verse. Some of it's actually prose. But the vast majority are verses that can be nicely chanted and memorized, or because the mind naturally becomes easily more absorbed when there's rhythm. The rhythm. You can memorize jingles and poems easier than you can prose. So I took a stab at writing some poetry, and I'd like to share some of it with you. Let's see. Here's an easy one. You know, this is very easy to write. You'll see how. And it follows after a poem, Vallabhacharya. He wrote something called the Madhurashtakam, which is in Sanskrit, of course, and it's all about how Krishna is the emperor of sweetness. Didn't memorize any verses, but the last line goes, Madhuradi Paterakilam Madhuram, which means he's the emperor of sweetness. So I said, well, this sounds like it's pretty easy to do in English. So I took a stab at it, and it talks about Krishna's sweetness, and this is something that Bilvamangal Thakur is fond of describing Krishna's sweet. There's one verse I memorized some time ago. Juta tapaniya duamada vilopi tukula baham vidachata chandaka badanam habadanam jagatam mamadishamam yudeti muditana nabimba maho kimapi kishora dhamma maduram. So sweet. So I didn't put it in a poem, but Juta tapaniya means molten gold, especially highly refined molten gold, which is very proud of its especially brilliant glow. But Krishna's dukula, his silken garments, which is yellow gold, it is defeating the pride of that highly refined molten gold. So that's why. Juta tapaniya duamata vilopi dukula baham. And he's vidachata chandakavanan. He's fashioned a wonderful ornament made of peacock plumes for his chest and crest. Vidachata chandakavadanam habadanam jagatam. But he himself is the ornament for the entire universe. Mamadishamam bhuteti. Now, Bilvamangal Thakur was physically blind. There's a whole story about that I won't get into. But he had his spiritual vision, so he constantly writes these verses about how Krishna's come before my eyes and I'm seeing him come now. So this is one of them. Mamadishamam bhuteti. He comes before my eyes. Muditana nabimba maho. With his beautiful moon-like smiling face, so attractive. It says, Kimapi kishora dhamma. This ineffably wonderful adolescent aspect of Krishna is sweet. So that brings us to my little poem here, and it inspired by Vallabhacharya's Madhurashtakam. Your lotus feet and hands are sweet, your waist and lotus navel sweet, your threefold bending pose is sweet, O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. Your lips are sweet, your smile is sweet, your lotus eyes and face are sweet, your heart is sweet, your name is sweet, O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. Your jaunty peacock plume is sweet, your forest flower garland sweet, your bluish black complexion sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. Your jeweled ornaments are sweet, your silken yellow garments sweet, your flute and horn and staff are sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. Your splendid golden belt is sweet, your brilliant yellow tilak sweet, your gunjaberry necklace sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. Your glossy curly locks are sweet, your dancing sidelong glances sweet, your eyebrows, playful gestures, sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. Your voice is sweet, your words are sweet. Your tinkling ankle bells are sweet. Your flute song and your laughter, sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. Your lips are sweet, your smile is sweet, your lotus eyes and face are sweet, your heart is sweet, your name is sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. That's kind of the refrain. So then I go through the different stages of his Leela. Your crawling in your yard is sweet. Your being dragged by calves is sweet. The elder gopis' laughter sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. The elder gopis' plaints are sweet. Your feigning innocence is sweet. Your melting all their hearts is sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. The claim you'd eaten earth is sweet. Your shoulder scolding you is sweet. Your opening your mouth is sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. Your butter thievery is sweet. Your running from your mother sweet. Her binding you with ropes is sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. Your lips are sweet, your smile is sweet, your lotus eyes and face are sweet. Your heart is sweet, your name is sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. Your cows and cowherd friends are sweet. Your Giri Govardhan is sweet. Your dear Yamuna river sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. Your forest wanderings are sweet. Your foot dust and your gait are sweet. Your dancing and your singing sweet. O king of sweet, you're sweet complete. Your jokes and playful pranks are sweet. Your generosity is sweet. Your love for your companion is sweet. O King of Sweet, you're sweet complete. Your mimicry of birds is sweet. Your swinging from a bough is sweet. Your daily forest picnic, sweet. O King of Sweet, you're sweet complete. Your nap beneath the tree is sweet. Your friends' massage and songs are sweet. Your soft and fragrant limbs are sweet. O King of Sweet, you're sweet complete. Your lips are sweet. Your smile is sweet. Your lotus eyes and face are sweet. Your heart is sweet. Your name is sweet. O King of Sweet, you're sweet complete. Your moonlit autumn night is sweet. The forest heady, fragrant sweet. Your flute song for the gopis sweet. O King of Sweet, you're sweet complete. The gopis joining you is sweet. You're testing their devotion sweet. Their song of full submission sweet. O King of Sweet, you're sweet complete. Your love play with the girls is sweet. Their pride at being with you is sweet. Your disappearance, bittersweet. O King of Sweet, you're sweet complete. Your secret rendezvous is sweet. Your dalliance with Radha sweet. Your love for her, her love for you, supremely sweet. O King of Sweet, you're sweet complete. The gopis' search for you is sweet. They're acting out your pastime sweet. Their moving song of longing sweet. O King of Sweet, you're sweet complete. Your coming back to them is sweet. Your pacifying words are sweet. Your blessed rasa dance is sweet. O King of Sweet, you're sweet complete. Your lips are sweet. Your smile is sweet. Your lotus eyes and face are sweet. Your heart is sweet. Your name is sweet. O King of Sweet, you're sweet complete. My humble hymn is no great feat. Yet so I pray, O King of Sweet, that with your favor it may meet, so you'll reveal your lotus feet. It's easy, but it's fun. And then I have a few. Yeah, here you go. Some little sonnets. So let's see. Okay. So first is, with lovely peacock plume upon his head. So Krishna begins his day. With lovely peacock plume upon his head and fragrant flower placed upon each ear, he enters Braja's woods with graceful tread, a handsome dancing actor without peer. His golden yellow raiment brightly glows, his splendid garland reaches to his knees, and from his luscious lips the nectar flows and fills his flute with charming melodies. As Krishna thus begins his blissful day with cowherd friends who sing his glory sweet, he beautifies Vrindavan's forest way with fine impressions of his lotus feet. Now, they've got free of the village. Now they're out near the Yamuna, and he starts running. "Let's go," said Krishna, "don't delay at all." And he and Balaram began to run ahead of all their cowherd friends who called, "Oh, Krishna, Rama, let us join the fun." And off they went to Braja's forest haunts, to play in every bower, grove, and sward. That's a meadow. The boys would tease their friend with playful taunts, forgetting his position as the Lord. Shri Krishna is inviting us as well to join him in his pastimes, which enthrall. The wise heed Krishna when they hear him tell, "Let's go, my friends, do not delay at all." And then they're out in the forest, deep in the forest, and they're swinging from the boughs. For Krishna and his multitude of friends, a festival of joy each day would bring. A special thrill in Braja's verdant glens was riding with him high upon a swing. "O Ujjvala, Sridhama, Bhadrasena, just see Vrindavan's bountiful delights, the peacock's dance, the songbird's sweet refrain, the lakes and hills and other scenic sights. All these make this the best place on the earth for us to play all day and herd the cows." Thus Krishna, in the mood of sportive mirth, enthused his friends while swinging from the boughs. And then, of course, we have Govardhan Leela. When Krishna stopped King Indra's sacrifice, that monarch of the heavens threw a fit. "Those cowards took that foolish boy's advice. Such insolence I never shall permit." So Indra sent the clouds of devastation, which poured down catastrophic hail and rain with thunderbolts and winds without cessation. The cowards called to Krishna in their pain to show his coward friends his boundless love and crush King Indra's pride for his own good. Shri Krishna lifted Govardhan above and saved his friends while neath the hill they stood. Okay, couple more. All right. Now, okay, this is the swinging pastime, Radha Krishna swinging. Where blooming flowers spread their sweet perfumes, where clear Yamuna flows and songbirds sing, where all the land a lovely light illumes, Shri Radha and Shri Krishna gently swing. This idol of their love in Braja's bowers forever charms their dearest devotees, whose heart Shri Krishna's sweetness overpowers, obscuring his prodigious potencies. Whatever in this world we know as love is just a shadow of the love they feel. The wise aspire to learn the secrets of devotion's path and taste that love ideal. And of course, we just passed Damodar month a little while ago. At last Yashoda caught her naughty child, who smashed a pot of yogurt in a peak. Though seemingly annoyed, she felt beguiled by little Krishna's loving charm unique. "O imp, I've caught you now, but do not fear. You see, I've thrown the stick upon the floor. But I must bind you with this rope, my dear, lest you increase your mischief more and more." And so Yashoda bound her little son, who hid his glory to evoke her love. The blessings she enjoyed are never won by gods and goddesses who dwell above. You can remember this word imp. It perfectly describes Krishna. I'll look it up in my little dictionary here. And what does it say? A child who causes trouble in a playful way, a mischievous child. Is that Krishna or not? Right? He's an imp. Okay, one more and then I'll let you go. All right. What was I going to read here? Oh, here. A few little bit about Krishna as a child. This is by Bilamangal Thakur. Kinkini kinkina dabasarangana buvadinkana sadatantam kunkunu kunkunu padayugadam kankanakadabushadim hadim bande. I bow to Hare, whose waist bells tinkle as he crawls in his father's yard. His bangles and ankle bells softly jingle as he melts Vrindavan's heart. Somebody sudabhinamam bhamaya sayantamunayantim nimbalakam avalambe tambalam tunavalagna jambalam. His mother grows tired while chasing her son as he runs among the cows. I ever take shelter of Nanda's boy, who's muddy from the pasture's ground. So he's running from his mother, and he's so small he can run under the cows, and she can't catch him that way. But he slips sometimes, falls into the ground there, which is muddy with milky mud, and it gets all over his body. So he ends up being covered with this mud, and the mother eventually catches him. Okay. All right, one more. This is similar to the previous one, but so at the beginning of chapter 21, which is the Venu Geet chapter of the 10th canto, there's several beautiful verses describing Krishna entering into the forest. What do you look like? Kusamadavannadadishmi bringan vijakullagushta saraksadin mahidram mandapada vagacharigan gasahapasupada balashtakujavenam Pahapidan natavadavapuka nayokar nikaram bibran basak kanaka kapisham vajayanting chamalam randran veno hadadasudaya puriyan gopa vrindaranyam sapatadamanam pravishad gita kirti. Vrindavan's rivers, lakes and hills ring out with charming hums and trills as flocks of birds and maddened bees rejoice among the flowering trees. To those idyllic woods and glens repairs Govinda with his friends Sri Rama and the cowherd boys to taste the most exquisite joys. And as they walk along the way, absorbed in herding and in play, Sri Krishna, beauty absolute, begins to play his mystic flute. With peacock plume upon his head and fragrant flower on each ear, he enters Braja's wood with tread sublime, a dancer without peer. His golden yellow raiment glows, his garland reaches to his knees, and from his lips the nectar flows and fills his flute with melodies. As Krishna thus begins his day with friends who sing his glories sweet, he beautifies the forest way with fine impressions of his feet. Samadhi culminates in this, to always see the scene of bliss within oneself and outside too. May Krishna give this boon to you. All of you and all of you also. And that leaves us with 7:27. 3 more minutes. What can I share in 3 more minutes? Okay. This is a advice how you can get relief from all misery and achieve perfection easily. Okay? This is from the Mukunda Mala Stotra. Kata chadana soroje kanti mannetramine shamamushipuja vichi vyakule gadhamarghe Hare sadasya bhagayapi yatejo jalaugam bhavamadapati kinna klesha madhyachajami. The desert of this world is scorching me, exhausting me with endless misery. But now I see the perfect remedy. I'll dive into the lake of Sri Hare. The lotuses that grow within that pool are Krishna's hands and feet, so soft and cool. The fish there are his eyes, which ridicule a pair of most exquisite, brilliant jewels. His arms with graceful motions ever make delightful waves in that unfathomed lake. Its water is his splendor. Let me take deep draughts of it, my burning thirst to slake. If you desire relief from misery and wish to get perfection easily, then take to heart my simple remedy and dive into the lake of Sri Hare. Okay. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for a nice class.
Hare Krishna Tabas. He's not in the closet. He's out in the Zoom.
We don't have any questions today, but we do have comments.
All right, let's hear them. I'm ready. All the criticism. Go ahead.
It's from Joy Madhava Das. Such sweet poems. Dravida Prabhu, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Jai Madhava. Hare Krishna Prabhu.